Why won't Digimon let Leomon survive a season? Beatbreak, the 10th Digimon anime, has a lot of new ideas, but it also knows when to play the hits, nailing the things we remember loving about early Digimon. So with this white Leomon variant suddenly in the story, there is only one obvious question. Will Toei let a Leomon live? Welcome to the DigiKnow, where we do retrospectives and deep dives into Millennium-era anime, including Digimon, OG Beyblade, and recently Inuyasha. If you're into any of that, please do me the favor of hitting the subscribe button. It'll help me reach my dream of 100,000 subscribers. This week we are unpacking the 5 latest episodes of the excellent new Digimon season, Digimon Beatbreak, which stars a found family group of Digimon bounty hunters. Episode 30, Wings to Protect You. The Glowing Dawn visit Shangri-La Egg at the request of the CEO of Kuonji Industries. During their investigation, the true motive of the culprit is revealed. This is not just an Ultimate Evolution episode for Cheer-Up-mon and Makoto, but a well-needed dive into the past of Glowing Dawn's youngest member. We see how Makoto's twin brother was impacted by his departure, how his father behaved before and after the exile of one of his sons. When Seiji, Makoto's dad, sees Glowing Dawn in the present, he says, "I see my son has been burdening you." It's a weird thing to say, but not openly hostile, suggesting some level of appreciation to the people who stepped up as a proxy family for his kid. Tsukasa, the twin brother of Makoto, tells us that Seiji wants Makoto back, for his sons to be the twin heirs of the Kuonji Industries. It's a bit overwhelming in a way that feels real, mixed emotions big time and unclear motivations from brother and father. The initial antagonists of the episode are the human and Digimon pair of Riku Hosho and Lugarmon, who tried to steal data from Kuonji Industries. The weird thing is, Riku was not just an employee of Kuonji, but a bright one with a promising future, quote, "But rumors said he joined some cult and got transferred. I think it's called Gift," which links these episodes to our current arc so that it's not entirely standalone. When Riku and Lugarmon strike again, they are now targeting Makoto's partner, Cheer-Up-mon, specifically, and it becomes clear that Seiji, the dad, struck a deal with them, saying if they eliminate Cheer-Up-mon for him, they can keep the data and escape without consequence. What I liked in this episode was that there were a couple minutes where we didn't know if Riku was working with Seiji, the dad, or Tsukasa, the resentful brother. Lugarmon digivolves to the ultimate Hell Lugarmon, which should delight Digimon Seekers fans who now get to see the Lugamon line in traditional 2D animation. Cheer-Up-mon feels a profound guilt over how Makoto's life has turned out. Quote, "Because of me, you're made to suffer, just like back then. If I'm with you, your family will hate you. Because I was born, you've been hurt so much." To quote Mr. Frankie from One Piece, "Existing is not a crime." When Cheer-Up-mon is ready to capitulate and give in so that Makoto can be happy with his family, the young boy says, "Screw that, remember the promise we made?" And we flash back to the night that the two of them decided to run away. Living in this glorious egg was suffocating, but when Makoto is with Cheer-Up-mon, he feels like he can fly. We get the duo's ultimate evolution paired with a fantastic needle drop, an original track that sounds like something from the band Bump of Chicken. Between this and the recent Robin episode of One Piece, no spoilers, it feels like we've met Toei at a very musical time in their lives. I must confess, I was spoiled seeing the evolution on social media before I watched the episode. I saw the jokes about the form, and what I'll say is, media literacy is dead if your takeaway from this episode is LOL he turned into a plane. This is one of Beatbreak's best moments. Sure, there isn't anything especially revelatory about this found family chapter in the overall story, but 30 nailed it with lyrics like "You've become more like yourself" and the visual metaphor of Makoto flying in Scourge Cheer-Up-mon's cockpit, a sort of call and response to that line from earlier where he said his partner makes him feel like he can fly. It's an amazing moment and also a great bit of redemption for Tsukasa, the brother, who we learn lifted the security lockdown so that Makoto and Scourge Cheer-Up-mon could take to the skies and win the fight. Here he is trying to make amends. The episode ends with Makoto and Cheer-Up stargazing like they did in their past and saying "Zettai Isho," or "Together Forever." It's a great, earned evolution episode. In 31, One Step Forward, Tomoro meets a reclusive girl accompanied by a Digimon on the beach. This is another story with Hitomi front and center. Are we meant to take from this that her and Tomoro are together or just besties? Either way, it is very sweet that they are still making an effort to see each other after Tomoro kind of dropped out of high school. She's the final anchor from his past life, at least while Asuka is in a cold-hearted coma state. Chihiro is a little girl at the center of this episode who lives on the floor beneath Hitomi. We're told she won't leave her apartment anymore, won't smile, but an Algamon that she's been hiding has helped her step out of her comfort zone. This should be sweet, and and simple, but considering it's Beatbreak, nothing is simple. Maki tells us that Algamon passively affects surrounding electrical devices, that the large-scale disaster that happened in America a few years ago was caused by an Algamon. By the way, with its future cyberpunk setting, hearing Beatbreak name drop America almost feels strange, like Pokemon the first movie's dub making that Minnesota joke. Chihiro's Digimon evolves after two young adults named Meto and Kanon, who serve rows of the 5 stars, show up for Algamon. The Digimon goes to Ultimate next, and because this is Beatbreak, Ultimate means portal to the mirror world. Meto and Kanon's Digimon explain, quote, Algamon is fusing with the mirror world and altering it into its ideal place. This reaction, fueled primarily by Chihiro's emotions, will be disastrous to the outside world. Power outages, blackouts, it's like episode 1 of Digimon Adventure 2020, honestly. It's not a shared universe, but it's fun to imagine on that fateful day where Taichi met Agumon in 2020, imagine Glowing Dawn was on their own quest to stop Algamon. That's kind of what's happening here. Chihiro is so young and Algamon is so powerful that she's being full-body cold-hearted. She doesn't have enough mass for all of the energy Algamon requires. We go inside Algamon, dive into the heart style. It's the garden on the moon of Majora's Mask, where Tomoro tries to plead with Algamon to stop taking from Chihiro for her sake. When it doesn't work, he changes strategy, attempts to appeal to Chihiro, and reciting Kyo's dream, Tomoro says, "You can't be together right now, but someday I'll make a world where you can live together with Algamon." Chihiro and Algamon's friendship was premature. They are too early for the world where we all live together in harmony. It's fascinating that Beatbreak decided to do these Monster of the Week stories in the middle of its run, but again, these episodes kinda rock. I loved seeing Meto and Kanon, Rose's right and left hand, as well as their Digimon, which include Palmon when Leomon is in the rookie state. Chihiro learns to step outside even without Algamon, which feels hopeful and lovely until she tells Hitomi that she's leaving for Nirinso, the shelter that Glowing Dawn operate. She says it with a look of determination, but not a smile per se. Is this good? Are we meant to feel hopeful? Is this allowed? I love the ambiguity of this ending. It makes an otherwise hopeful ending sort of creepy. Episode 32's description is only one line. Gift is responsible for several information brokers getting cold-hearted. It's ominous in how little the episode description is willing to give us this week. We see that Gift members, or followers, cultists, depends on who's asking, hunt down brokers like Maki and scream, "Receive the judgment of Digimon-sama." It's like the future that Digimon Adventure's original director Kakudo said he envisioned. We're seeing how the existence of Digimon is causing all kinds of ripple effects in society, including a reconsideration of religious norms. People worshipping Digimon as deities. Digimon-sama, they say. The next broker to be judged is apparently Maki, our friend, but it's not so straightforward. This episode follows a fascinating flashback format and even alludes to a third period that we don't get to see. An injured Pangiamon, essentially an ice Leomon, uses a slightly younger Maki's boathouse for shelter. She's not freaked out or unfamiliar with the concept of sharing e-pulse because, quote, "I used to have a Digimon of my own. However, I don't want to get involved with Digimon again and get my hands dirty." In the present, Maki sees that Fumamon, the Digimon assassin, is the one behind the broker attacks, and has an emotional reaction to seeing that monster's face. It's personal. Back when she worked with the Ice Leomon, Pangiamon, there was no cleaner system, just killers and avengers. In the present, Gift's true believers show up at Maki's coffee bar, like dozens, like the highest concentration yet of Gift followers in one place. They say things like, "You will face the judgment of Gift," and are assisted by the assassin Fumamon. In the past, Maki and Pangiamon discussed their future. Maki, quote, "Maybe I should open a cafe." The Ice Leomon, being a fan of her craft, loves the idea. Quote, "Both Digimon and humans would be able to laugh in a place like that. It's a nice dream, but I'll never be able to visit that cafe." It's very tragic that he does not expect to live much longer, as at that time, Digimon killed others. Then their loved ones killed their killers. Then the killers' loved ones killed their killers. It was a bloody, messy, endless cycle, but Pangiamon dreams of a world where coexistence is possible. I'm reminded of that proverb, quote, "A society grows great when old men plant trees whose shade they know they'll never sit in." Pangiamon is thinking beyond his present, beyond himself, wanting to build a world he'll never get to live in. When the white Leomon dies in a battle with Fumamon, sacrificing himself to save Maki while simultaneously refusing her help, she asks, "Why did you do it?" And he says, "I didn't want you to dirty your hands anymore. Your hands are for making good coffee," giving us the brilliant origin story for Maki being part bounty hunter broker and part vintage coffee bar owner. Back in the present, Murasamemon and Kyo step up to defeat Fumamon using the weaknesses Maki had remembered from her original showdown with this monster all those years ago. This Murasamemon fight was the first time I thought, despite the fan theories predicting a death, maybe Murasamemon will be spared in Beatbreak, since we got our mandated Leomon kill in episode 32. Fumamon is defeated, and in a final flashback we see the moment Kyo and Maki met. A younger Kyo tells her of his absurd dream to have humans and Digimon coexist, and she realizes this young man shares the same dream as her recently deceased partner. When the dust settles, we learn that our strange new character Miharu witnessed Tomoro stopping Maki from killing the baby form of Fumamon. Miharu, who we now know is at the center of Gift, says to an off-screen figure, "Tomoro, I was right about you. He belongs on this side, right, Mephismon?" This was the best and creepiest episode of this batch by far. You can't watch an episode like this and say that the Gift arc isn't doing anything. Another season, another Leomon down, though to answer the question, can Leomon survive a season of Digimon? Not this season, but it was a bit of a trick question. In fall of 2021, we saw Leomon survive all of Digimon Adventure 2020, making it to episode 67, the finale, without being sacrificed, backstabbed, or otherwise offed. So congrats 2020 reboot Leomon, you're the winner. Episode 33, Midsummer Ghost. Tomoro and the others visit a beach hut run by Hotaruko. They spot Raito and Monodramon passed out on the beach. It's a beach episode technically, but it's Beatbreak, so it's not just a beach ep. Hotaruko's Okonomiyaki shop is a spin-off / extension of her family business. We witness new drip for Raito post-Tactics, which makes sense. He can't exactly wear his Tactics jacket anymore, but it's not just him. Everyone has new fashion this week, including Tomoro. Remnants of Tactics attack and kidnap Hotaruko and Granite. Tactics Team 1 is behind the attack. Reminder, Raito's crew was called Tactics Team 7, but the way it works is that Team 1 isn't the best. Actually, the lower your number, the lower the rank. Team 1 members resent Hotaruko, Granite, and especially Raito for looking down on them. There's a hilarious exchange where one of the Team 1 guys goes, "Raito looked down at us and laughed," and Granite goes, "But Raito does that to everyone." These Team 1 guys believe in their hearts that Raito is the only reason Tactics was disbanded, and that if they defeat Team 7, other members will reform. It's delusional, but you can see how cultists would resent the person who broke out of the mind control first, brought their story to the outside world, and got the ball rolling on the collapse of their cult leader. That is kinda what happened with Raito and Naito and Clay. In the episode's action climax, Tomoro leads 5 Digimon. It's very cool, very Pokemon style, with Gekomon, Cheerupmon, Shakomon, Pristimon, and Ludamon taking orders from just him while their human partners are downed or captured. An ex-Tactics sniper is using rubber bullets that are boosted with E-Pulse, which is tremendously cool. Beatbreak has no shortage of clever ways to remix this E-Pulse concept. Just when Tomoro thought he was abandoned by Raito, the genius reveals he used them, Tomoro and the crew, as bait. The sniper, constantly shooting at them, exposed his location to Raito and Monodramon, who swiftly body him. Raito has got to be one of the coolest Digimon anti-heroes. He did some unforgivable stuff in the Tactics arc, but his new position as a useful a-hole means we can enjoy seeing him without being asked to forgive him. They don't want us to forget what he did, at least not at this moment. And just as I finished jotting that point down about how fun and interesting he is, I unpaused the episode and was hit with a huge shakeup to Beatbreak. Raito is being picked up by Honoka, one of the 5 stars, and she name drops Kaito, the star of fire, as being the one who asked her to come collect Raito. He goes willingly. It's not like he's been kidnapped. He tells Tomoro he's with them because "I'm going to get stronger and I'll defeat you, Tomoro." They handpicked Raito. Is he being trained to be the next member of the 5 stars? Now that Clay is down, there is a vacuum, a missing link in the organization. Just wow, I love how we've seen a rotating chair of 5 stars in this show. Kyo is out, new gold star is in. Clay is out, and his subordinate Raito might just be in next. I just adore this show. The 5 stars is not unlike the Warlords or Emperor of the Sea system in Toei's other major series One Piece. As soon as one Warlord is out, a new one is let in, and that's kind of exactly what's happening here, it seems. Hitting pause for a second, I usually save this for the end of the video, but let me try placing it here for once. If you like my stuff and or feel like we have the same taste in what makes a digital monster story work, I should let you know about my original light novel, Monster Revolution. It's over 200 pages of monster tamer action written by me, featuring a few illustrations by Weirdomon, with a story inspired by Digimon Adventure 02, Metabots, Persona 5. You can get a paperback copy for less than $20 or a digital copy for less than $10. I'll have links to where you can grab it in the bio and pinned comments. I don't do Patreon or merch, so this is one way to support me besides subscribing to the channel. Thank you sincerely for watching my stuff and trusting me. And in the final episode of this batch, episode 34, Behind the Mask, Tomura learns who is behind Gift. Here's another short description with, quote, Tomura devises a plan and catches a serial kidnapper. It's the episodes where they don't feel the need to oversell it that Beatbreak really goes nuts. In a mirror world battle with Oblivimon, Reina demonstrates tactics level of mixed martial arts, but on the Digimon front, her champion level Wolvermon is behind Scourge Kirapmon, Murasamemon, and Monarch Lizamon. She seems disappointed in herself and her monster for not being able to hit ultimate. It's a Reina insecurity storyline. This is great. If you're going to withhold an evolution like they have been with Reina and her Digimon, acknowledge it. Then, suddenly, the member of your team not having an evolution breakthrough becomes a feature, not a bug of your storytelling. Miharu meets comatose or cold-hearted Asuka on the roof of the hospital and discloses to Tomura new information, that she had an older sister, whatever that means. She was precious, shining like the sun, and, quote, I'm going to get her smile back. Miharu reveals her identity as the masked leader of Gift to Tomura in a dark abandoned space, possibly the same plaza from episode 1 where Tomura met Gekomon and lost Asuka. Tomura goes, you really are a part of Gift? And I'm thinking, dude, she is Gift. She's at the center of this thing. Miharu monologues saying that the world is twisted, that Gift will fix it, and that, quote, the world's code has to be rewritten. This is a super interesting line. Is she speaking in metaphor or literally? Is this some kind of world-shattering twist? Did the human world explode when the Kano Island vanishing incident happened? And have we been living in a digital world the whole time? I'm inclined to believe she's just speaking in metaphor, that she's a computer person and sees the world in that light, but wouldn't that be something? We're not going to a digital world, we've been in a digital world, a simulation, very Matrix-like. Could be cool, but I'm not convinced. Rose's minions, the Team Rocket of Beatbreak, Meto, and Kanon, show up and help Tomura realize Miharu was behind the hospital attacks, the Kuonji hack, the broker assassinations. It's all been her. I think it's an awesome convergence of the past few weeks' story beats with all of our new characters and recent events clicking into place. The Team Rocket style duo says, we believe this masked streamer is the ringleader of Gift, and I just love that they call her a streamer. Content creator villain confirmed for Beatbreak. Tomura, seeing a young girl under attack by two servants of the 5 stars, decides to protect Miharu against Rose's soldiers. Reina appears, takes Tomura's side, but is like, you better explain yourself later. There is a familial trust here, but not blind trust. Rose herself appears, and after her Digimon blasts Wolvermon, she says to Reina, you're just a weakling who can't even take ultimate form. Know your place. That has got to hurt for a Tamer who has already been feeling funky about her inability to go past champion. Miharu is picked up by a weird adult waterman who appears and disappears in a pond or puddle thing. Kishiwada seems to be his name. And that is kind of where we end this batch. Are we seeing Reina and Pristimon's ultimate form next week? Will we get Reina's ult before we get Tomura or Kyo's Megas? We have to, right? No spoilers, but when will those forms we saw revealed in the Digimon card game appear in Beatbreak? 2 weeks away? 5? 10? Let me know where you think this story is going. Considering each arc has been about 12 episodes, and we're 7 weeks into the Gift storyline, with our human villain unmasked, Mephismon name-dropped, and a new human in the mix who just saved Miharu via the power of puddles, things are heating up. That's it for me. Thank you for your patience. What did you think about this batch of episodes? Which was your favorite? How are you liking the arc? If I thought Beatbreak dropped the ball, you know I would tell you. My Ghost Game weeklies will remember how disappointed I became with the show in its back half, but here I'm totally locked in, consistently blown away by the world and story of Beatbreak. Check out my newer videos on Inuyasha if you haven't yet, or my video breaking down Digimon Adventure Beyond, aka 13+, the new multiverse web novel written by the original director of Digimon Adventure. I think that might be one of my best videos, if I do say so myself. It's a personal favorite. Again, if you enjoy these types of videos, do hit subscribe and help me get closer to 100,000 subscribers. I want that silver play button like my buddy Karn has. The next few videos will dip into Digimon, return to Shaman King, I'll probably do my first video on Card Captor, and more Millennium Era goodness. Thanks for watching, take care, see you next time.